Hi guys, welcome to my top 5 SNES games of all time video. Bit of an odd title to add on to the end. SNES is very fun system of mine, going back years. I think I got it when I was about 12 or 13 years old. Big few like Mario World, FZero, Mario Kart, and I think it was Contra was the other one, or Super Pro Protector at the time. What a Christmas that was, yeah. So yeah, I played a lot of games on that system over the years, and it's really difficult. I mean, going back to it, trying to pick out like top 5 games that I really enjoy is real difficult. I mean, there's loads of them. 5 is just too little. But we've got to start somewhere, so we'll start at the bottom. Anyway, so in 5th place, again, this is all like personal opinions. If you've got anything different, post about it below, by all means. But don't get too upset if I've missed something out, because these are for me. But number 5 is FZero. I mean, I got that as a pack-in sort of when I was a kid, and I was obsessed with it at the time. But going back to it to this day, the speed, the fun, the difficulty of the tracks, the way Mode 7 flicks the racetrack around. I know the car's not actually moving, it's the entire track, but it's a very neat trick, and it makes it look like it's going like supersonic style speed. It's just absolutely crazy. And adding some of the difficulty of them tracks and how you can actually improve yourself over time, you know, your driving skills and so on. Absolutely, it's a gorgeous game. Go and check it out. They did do a GBA re-release. I think I did a video on it, which is FZero Maximum Velocity. Go and check my past videos for that one. But that was a redo of the SNES one, and they enhanced it a bit and made a few changes here and there. But it actually works out pretty well. Yeah. Anyway, moving on to number 4. Oh, well, a bit of an obvious one, but it's Legend of Zelda. Basically, Nintendo went back to the drawing board after Zelda 2. They didn't really like the idea of that, so they went back to the first one, did the top-down map, and the whole thing with that opening on that game where it's raining, the wind's blowing, there's a storm outside, and then your relative disappears off into the night, and then you have to go after him. It's one of them just perfect gaming introductions. You know, it learns you how to do everything, but there's a bit of fear there. You don't know what's going on. You feel helpless, and you grow in power as you're going along, and then by the end you're just like, yeah, bring it on. Awesome intro. And as a game as a whole, the dungeons are very well designed. It's a very clever title. It's one I keep returning to every few years. The weapons, it's where they really first did the weapons. I mean, the NES version, it was a good game, don't get me wrong, but the weapons were more, they weren't as used as well, I don't think. But in this one you've got things like the hook shot and the wand and stuff like that, and it's just, compared to the others, a massive improvement. Anyway, let's move on. Number 3, this was not a very difficult one to pick, but it's Super Castlevania. Or Castlevania 4 is that, which is a remake of the first Castlevania game by Konami. What can you say about this? I mean, the music on that first level, when you're walking along and it's all dead low and it's quiet and it sounds like church orchestra building, and then all of a sudden it gets faster and faster, and the church organs playing in the background, it gets higher and higher. And it's like, and then it spreads out into this masterpiece. Oh, it's amazing. Go listen to, I think it's called Simon's Theme. I'm not entirely sure, but it's on the very first level. I've done a video of it before. It always brings me back to the game, strangely enough. But adding the fact that you've got some amazing Mode 7 effects, and especially later on when you've got the whole spinning level thing and the way it all rotates around you. And the whip is just absolutely fantastic. The way it works, how quick it is, how manoeuvrable it is. After you've whipped it, you can flick it around, and it just adds that extra element of control. Then you go all Indiana Jones style, because you can flip it on hooks and go swinging across pits and things. And it's still quite challenging. The bosses are fun, and I enjoy going back to it, guys. I recommend you do too. Second. Oh, the 2 and 1 were very difficult, because they were practically fighting for the top spot here. But 2 is just pit for me, and it is Super Mario World. I mean, I got it as a pack-in. I rinsed that game to death because it's all I would play over and over and over again for several years. And it collected all the stars, do all the secret stuff, you know, mastered the flying of the cape. I mean, if I go back to it today, I can still pick up on that cape. I can still use it. I mean, it's like it's muscle memory. It's ingrained 20 odd years later. But it was such a gorgeous game, and it was Super Mario Brothers 3 on acid, basically. It took everything right about that game and just improved it tenfold. The platforming was perfect. Yoshi was perfect, the perfect companion. I mean, the whole thing of using him to bounce him off into pits and then get up to high spots is just fantastic. It was a great game overall. I loved it to bits, so I'm sure many people do. But the main reason it got beat to the top of the post and at number 1 is Super Mario Kart. Now, at the time, this was it was the early days, I think, of that sort of 2D style, 3D style race. It's a bit of a funny one. It wasn't doing 3D. I'm going crazy. I know. But that view from behind and just the way it was all Mario's world and the speed and the mechanics and the controls were just perfect. And you didn't just have the main race tracks, which were very challenging in their own way. You had the different levels of them with the 150C and so on. But after you've done that, you then had the battle mode, which you could play with a few friends because you've got all them controller ports on the front of the Super Nintendo. And I used to do it all the time. We'd take the drag systems down between people's houses. And we'd have a couple of TVs hooked up, and for years we were doing that. And this is before anything like Xbox Live or any sort of multiplayer. Years before the likes of GoldenEye, and it was just absolutely spot on. It was just the perfect multiplayer gaming experience. You had that, add on top of, you got the awesome racing game at the front as well, and I probably had much more happier memories of that than Mario World, and I probably played them about the same, so it's a bit of a tough one to go for. But by all means, guys, I'm sure you've all got your own choices, so please post them in the comments below. The Super Nintendo, though, is what a system, so many good games, so many I could have included, but I know some of them are probably quite boring, but those are the ones that were special to me at the time. So, as always, guys, thanks for watching, and please look forward to another video soon.